Hello, everybody.
You are listening to Media Lex Radio, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at facebook.com/offthecuff with Adam Banks, or you could stream the show live from the station website at medialex.us to listen to us from anywhere in the entire world. I am broadcasting from the WLXU studios here at Media Lex on North Limestone. It is May the 21st, 2026. We are just 1 day removed from 2026 primary election. I hope that everybody went out to the polls and voted. It is your American duty to go out and do that. I'm a little disappointed with the voter turnout, honestly. The voter turnout here in this country is getting worse and worse, especially for local elections. But we're going to get to the election results. There's so much to get to. There's so much to talk about regarding the elections, and we'll get to that later on in today's broadcast. But what a rainy day it is. Looking out at the studio downtown Lexington, it is nothing but dark clouds. And when it is cloudy like this, it destroys my head and my sinuses. So you might not get the same energy from me today as you normally get, because literally the rain puts me down. I hate the rain. I hate it. It's not like the rain's depressing. It just literally causes me pain in the head, in the sinus. And when I catch a migraine from the rain, which I haven't done yet, I feel like I'm knocking on the door of one. And when I catch one, I'm out, down for the count, 1, 2, 3. But there's just something about getting on the air, something about flipping on that live microphone button, and it seems like your sickness and your pain all goes away. So I think it's just the energy of radio broadcasting that helps me push through. But folks, we have a great show ahead of you today. On the last few episodes of Off the Cuff, you already know what we're going to do if you are a regular listener of the program. For the last couple of weeks, I have been testing your grade school knowledge And for the last few weeks, we played Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader, Fourth Grader, Fifth Grader. Last week on the show, we did Sixth Grader. This week on the show, I would like to do Are You Smarter Than a Seventh Grader? And the reason I want to do this, and the reason I have been doing this, is because we learn so much in elementary school, whether it be just addition, subtraction, what the planets are in the solar system, how many oceans there are. There is so much that we learn. And we often forget some of that stuff that we learn because it's been so long since we have actually read about it, studied about it. And elementary school is so important because it is the founding blocks, the foundation of our education, the knowledge that we carry with us through life. We usually learn it in school, but the problem is a lot of the things that we learned in school, especially in elementary school, we forgot. And if you were to ask somebody certain 7th grade level questions, they're not going to know the answer. Now, whose fault is that? Is it the teacher's fault? Is it your fault for not paying attention? Or is it just a mere not enough studying up on it throughout time? You just kind of let it leave your brain. But you'll be surprised, folks, of what you won't know when I ask you these questions, because we are going to play Are You Smarter Than a 7th Grader? These are 7th grade level questions. So if you have a child that's in the 7th grade and they bring home their 7th grade homework, these would be the type of questions that you would have to know the answer to. They expect the 7th graders to know the answer to these, but do you, at home listener, know the answers to these? A lot of my listening fan base is 30 to 55. We'll see if you can catch some of these answers. Here we go. All right, folks, are you smarter than a 7th grader? I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to give you just a few seconds to think about what the answer might be. So it's going to be kind of rapid fire. Once I ask the question, you only have a few seconds to say the answer out loud. But don't take too long because I will reveal the answer very shortly. So it's just a fun game for you to play along at home wherever you're at. Just scream out the answer. All right, question 1. Are you smarter than a 7th grader? Who wrote Romeo and Juliet? One of the most famous Shakespeare plays of all time. It was William Shakespeare. Question 2. What year did the United States declare independence? We all know that July 4th is the day. I ask, what is the year? This is basic history. 1776 was the year that our country was declared independent. I mean, isn't this year like the 300th anniversary of America? That should have gave you a hint. Question 3, what continent is Egypt located on? What continent is Egypt located on? There's 7 continents. I'm asking which continent is Egypt located on? That is Africa. What blood type is known as the universal donor? What blood type is known as the universal donor? We all have blood types. I have a different blood type than you maybe. Maybe we have the same blood type. But we can't share blood types if they're not the same. But there is one blood type out there that is universal. So what blood type is that one? The correct answer would be O negative. Very rare for somebody to be O negative. But it's a good thing if you are, because that means not only can you supply your blood to anyone, you can take anyone's blood if you ever need a blood transfusion. What is the smallest prime number? What is the smallest prime number? That would be the number 2. What is the capital of Japan? 7th grade level questions, folks. Are you smarter than a 7th grader? They would expect a 7th grader to know this. Do you know it? The capital of Japan is Tokyo. What is the chemical symbol for gold? What is the chemical symbol for gold? A little chemistry in here. I hated chemistry. The correct answer is AU. Who discovered gravity after seeing a falling apple? The correct answer is Isaac Newton is the one that discovered gravity after seeing a falling apple. Interesting. What is the capital of Canada? Most people would say Toronto, but it is Ottawa is the capital of Canada. Next question, what is the largest desert in the world? Antarctica is what it says. I thought Antarctica, that just shows you how educated I am. I thought that was an ocean, but apparently it's a desert. What is the currency of the United Kingdom? The pound sterling. Who was known for the theory of relativity? That would be one of the smartest men of all time, Mr. Albert Einstein. What is the tallest mountain in the world above sea level? There's plenty of documentaries on this particular mountain. It's one of the most famous mountains to exist, and it's also the tallest mountain in the world above sea level. What mountain is that? Mount Everest is the correct answer. What is the capital of Italy? What is the capital of Italy? 7th grade level questions, folks. You should know this. Rome is the correct answer. All right, just a few more here. We're playing Are You Smarter Than a 7th Grader? These are 7th grade level questions. What kind of animal is a Komodo dragon? The correct answer would be a lizard. Who invented the telephone? I'm looking for a name. Who invented the telephone? The correct answer is Alexander Graham Bell. What is the capital of Mexico? Mexico City would be the correct answer there. 3 more questions. Here we go. What vitamin do humans get mainly from sunlight? There's a particular vitamin that sunlight gives us, and they say that we need more of it. So we need to go out and get this from the sun naturally. That would be vitamin D. What is the tallest animal in the world? Don't overthink this one. It would be the giraffe. Okay, final answer. Are you smarter than a 7th grader? Who was the ancient Egyptian ruler buried in pyramids? What do they call the ancient Egyptian ruler buried in pyramids? A pharaoh. A pharaoh. Folks, there we go. That is Are You Smarter Than a 7th Grader questions. How did you do? Do you feel like you should be promoted to 8th grade? Well, whether you like it or not, I'm going to promote you, because next week on the show, we're going to have some 8th grade level questions. We're going to keep testing your grade school knowledge all the way up to the 8th grade. Started at 3rd, because I feel like that's when we really start learning content, the 3rd grade. 8th grade, if you can't get the 3rd level questions, I don't know how you can get the 8th grade. Probably because it was more time has passed since you've been in the 3rd grade. So maybe 8th grade level questions will be easier. But what's funny and fascinating about this is we just assume that we know everything that kids learn in school because we've been through it already. But this is just a reminder that we forget a lot of the things that we learned. And there's a lot of things that you learn in grade school that is hard, and hard to keep stored in your brain for all of those years. I remember when my brother would come home with homework, my mom would be so stressed and aggravated, and I couldn't understand it because I was like, Mom, this is like 5th grade level homework. But it's a lot harder than what you think, and these questions just prove it. All right, folks, we have a great show ahead of you today. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Banks, the host of Off the Cuff, and you are listening to Media Lex Radio, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Media Lex only exists in our community because of the generosity of signal boosters like Callie Turk. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to the voice of the people. To learn how you can become a signal booster, visit medialex.us/donate. MediaLex is grateful to Founder Circle member Ellie Ben for their generous investment in our mission, a level of exceptional giving that reflects the spirit of our founder and community champion, Deborah Hensley.
Are you an immigrant? Whether you have papers or not, it's important to take these 3 steps. Know your rights, talk to a lawyer, and have a plan. You can get your immigration checkup today. Call Neighbors Immigration Clinic at 859-699-6948 or go to kyneighborsclinic.org. That's 859-699-6948 or www.kyneighborsclinic.org.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Baseball season is in full swing. This is one of my favorite sports songs in general. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, a classic baseball song that they play every baseball game that you go to. They usually play this at the, I believe it's the bottom of the 6th or middle of the 7th inning. Yeah, it's been a year since I've been to a baseball game, so I forgot. I think it's, if I had to bet, I would say it's right at, middle of the 7th is when they play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And so many renditions of this particular song have been made, and I love it. Everyone that knows me knows that I am a big Cincinnati Reds fan. The Reds, I'm not going to complain about them. They still are sitting at a winning record, 26-24. They've been in a battle with the Phillies over their last couple of games. I hope to make it out to the Reds to watch the Mets in June. Looking forward to that. But I love baseball. It is the soundtrack of a lot of people's summer. It's a great game to have on in the background as you do other things. It's almost impossible to watch an entire baseball game from pitch to pitch, but it's still a great thing to have on in the background to watch. And everybody's got some sort of team that they root for when it comes to baseball. Even if you don't like baseball that much, there's still a team you favor the most. And if you don't, maybe this is the year you can start with the Reds. Now, there are so many great things about baseball. The tradition, the teams, the uniforms. But there's something about the music that comes with baseball too. And here on the show, folks, for the last couple of weeks, I talked about things like what are the best songs about golf? the week after that, we talked about the best songs about basketball. Well, what about the best songs about baseball? Since we are in full swing and baseball is happening as we speak, there is just something about baseball that songwriters, they can't exist. I would dare to say that there are more songs written about baseball than any other sport. Maybe it's the rhythm of the game. Maybe it's the memories tied to the summer nights and the dusty fields that people go to, or it's the radio transmitter that always sounds old-timey. The sound of crowds rising all at once and roaring all at once when you hear the crack of a bat. Baseball has always been more than just a sport. It's nostalgia. It's heartbreak. It's hope. It's America's game. It really is. It's America's sport. So today we're going to be stepping up to the plate with some of the greatest songs ever written about baseball. Some are funny, some are emotional, some will take you straight back to your childhood, and a few might surprise you that made the list, of course. So whether you're a lifelong baseball fan or just a great, you just love a great story attached to a song, this is the segment for you. I think that baseball is so easy to write about. There is so much that you can talk about, whether it be the concessions or the crowd or the teams, but there is so much there's so much material that can get you started. So I have compiled a list here of some of the best songs written about baseball. And folks, we're going to have to start with maybe one of the best out there. It's called Center Field by John Fogerty. This song came out in 1985. It is still popular today. It was written and recorded by John Fogerty. This song became the unofficial anthem of baseball because it perfectly captures the dream every kid has of stepping onto the field and hearing their name called. This has got an upbeat guitar riff and the famous line, "Put me in, coach." This song, it feels energetic, it's optimistic, and it is timeless. You see this song on so many baseball highlight reels. And it should be on your playlist in the summer because it's baseball. Now, next up on the list is a song called "Talkin' Baseball" by Terry Cashman. This song was released in 1981. This song is beloved because it works like a musical time capsule of baseball's golden era, celebrating legendary players and the romance of the game. It's a conversational style and nostalgic storytelling song, and it makes the listeners feel like they're sitting around swapping baseball memories. All right, coming up next, folks, is a song called "Opening Day." I mean, these songs in general are just great to listen to if you want to be put in the mood to watch baseball. If you're traveling up to a game and you don't want to listen to the pregame and you want to listen to some baseball music, this is great. This is also great tunes that you could have in the locker room of a baseball team. Just maybe have on while you practice or throw a few balls or do a few pitches. This is called "Opening Day" by Dan Byrne. Released in 2005. This song captures the emotional reset that baseball offers every spring, which is hope, renewal, and possibility. All right, next up on the list, folks, is a song called "Baseball Boogie." This is an old timey song.
Will you hold the ball when you step to the plate? Will you swing and fall? If you play, you gotta know how it's done. Can you hold a hard ball?
This is by Mabel Scott, released in 1949. This is a rhythm and blues track, and it stands out because it celebrates baseball with swagger and humor during an era when baseball dominated American culture. Back in the 40s, there was really no other sport that mattered besides baseball. This song has a danceable energy to it. It mirrors the excitement surrounding the sport in the post-war years. Because people were looking for ways to be entertained, looking for ways to escape after the war. Baseball was a sport that was perfect for that. It lasted a long time. It got people's mind off of it. It caused people to pay attention and focus on something else. All right, this next one is one of my faves. This is from Alabama in 1993, talking about the band Alabama. This is called Cheap Seats. This song is really about small-town America through the lens of minor league baseball. It celebrates ordinary people enjoying the game together, reminding listeners that baseball's magic doesn't only live in the major league stadiums. It could also exist in minor league, too. All right, this next one here is called The Ballad of Casey, written by Joe Rathburn. Now, this song was inspired from a poem. What makes it compelling is how it modernizes baseball mythology while still leading into the drama and heartbreak that have always defined the sports. You know, anytime you hear a song titled The Ballad of, and it's a certain name, you know it's going to be a story. Okay, this next one here is called All the Way by Eddie Vedder. Now, this is for the Chicago Cubs fans, who I hate. I hate the Cubs. But this is a great song for Chicago fans, and if I was from Chicago, I'd be going crazy. I understand why there's a lot of songs about the Cubs. Chicago is a big baseball city. It's a big sports city in general, but they do love their baseball in Chicago. Some call it the most iconic baseball city in Major League Baseball. All right, this next one here is called Night Game by Paul Simon, released in 1975. Simon, when he wrote this song, he uses baseball as a poetic backdrop for themes of memory and aging and American culture. So he's talking about aging and talking about nostalgia, but he uses baseball as the center theme of his song, describing this and describing his emotions. This next one here is called Right Field by Peter, Paul, and Mary, released in 1987. This song beautifully captures the childhood experience of playing baseball. Ain't that the truth, though? I mean, with any sport, when you're getting picked on the playground and they're picking teams, they always pick the good players first. And if you're getting picked last, that means you're terrible. And it's just a shot to your ego every time people go to pick teams. I always hated having to be a part of having to be picked to be on a team, because a lot of people didn't want to pick me to play basketball because I was short, but that would make me dominate them in my ball handling skills. And it pushed me to want to really show them up. It was my motivation. But any sport this can be applied to. Baseball too. You're not going to pick a bad player that can't do anything. And you get exposed on the playground when you're the last one picked, because everybody knows, oh, he must suck if he's not getting picked. All right, just a few more here. This next one's called The Hitter by Mark Erlerly. This was released in 2006. This song uses baseball as a metaphor for persistence, struggle, and identity. It's thoughtful and introspective. It shows how baseball stories can reflect larger truths about life. All right, this next one here is called Baseball's My Game. And this was in the early 2000s. This song works because it embraces pure baseball enthusiasm. All right, one more here. This one's called The Thing About Baseball by Bill Murray and Paul Schaefer, released in 2017. A little modern song. Now, what makes this song memorable is this is Bill Murray's affection for baseball. And it really shows through this song. This song reflects how baseball inspires storytelling, humor, and nostalgia unlike any other sport. There is no other sport like baseball. Still not my favorite sport in the world personally. But it is a one heck of a sport, and it is so fun to watch, especially during this time of year, this season. And I would dare say that there are more songs written about baseball than any other sport out there. So far, we've talked about the best songs written about golf, thanks to it being golf season. We talked about the best songs written about basketball because of the NBA playoffs. And now this week, we talked about the best songs written about baseball. And I wanted to do that in honor of baseball season being in. Let's go Reds. Don't fall below 500, please, whatever you do. And you're getting too close to doing that. All right, folks, we still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks to go. A lot of election talk to get to. Want to go over those results, and we're going to talk about that after these words. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
This is AJ, host of The Playbook. You are listening to Media Lex Radio, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
MediaLex is grateful to Founder Circle member Khaki Urge for their generous investment in our mission, a level of exceptional giving that reflects the spirit of our founder and community champion, Deborah Hensley.
Hi, this is Mike Canton, host of The Soul Show, an eclectic R&B presentation that spans 7 decades of excellence. And I promise, There really is something here for every one of you. So tune in every Saturday night at 6 p.m. here at Media Lex Radio, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
At Radio Lex, we want to keep our community safe.
Can an employer discriminate against you because of your sexual orientation or gender identity?
Per the Lexington Human Rights Commission, a Lexington local ordinance protects individuals against employment discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity.
Radio Lex is committed to providing trustworthy information to our community.
For more information, visit radiolex.us or lexhumanrights.org. Media Lex has the support of community partner Bluegrass Care Navigators, bgcarenav.org.
If you don't like who's in there, vote them out.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. We are just 24 hours removed from Election Day. The primary election is where the Republicans vote for their party, the Democrats vote for their party, and everything comes to a head in November for the general election. But before we have a general election, you have to have a primary. You have to pick a winner to represent the Republican Party, and you have to pick a Democrat to represent the Democratic Party. This election was particularly special to me because my dad was running for Letcher County Judge Executive as a Republican candidate, and he was going against the incumbent, Terry Adams, and going against another guy named Wade Adams. My dad fell short in the election. He lost by 230 votes. And I told Dad, even before these results come out, I said, Dad, go into it looking like this. Letcher County is in terrible shape. Letcher County is under terrible leadership. That is why you wanted to run. You wanted to run to make it better. The corruption going on in Letcher County is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, if you want to know kind of a little window of what's going on in Letcher County, just turn on the news. We have judges getting shot in their chambers. We have sex rings going on at the courthouse. All kinds of ridiculous, vile, disgusting things happening in the county of Letcher County. So my dad said, I want to run for office to help change and to help make Letcher County a better place, or at least back to where it used to be. I mean, back 30, 40 years ago, if alcohol would have came on the ballot for Letcher County to go wet, it would have got turned down 90%. But man, when that thing went on the ballot to go wet about 10, 15 years ago, it flipped. There was about 90% of people that were for it. That just goes to show you how people's thinking has changed, how their morals and values have changed. Letcher County has declined tremendously over the last few months. Over the last few years, over the last several years, I should say. And the corruption has just gotten worse and worse. And my dad decided he wanted to run for county judge executive, never ran for office before, has zero experience in politics, and he was wanting to run, but in order to do that, he had to beat the incumbent, who also was a Republican. So I told Dad, even before this started, I said, Dad, if you lose, if you don't get elected, if you lose to Terry, who the current county judge is, don't take that personal. Letcher County will get who they want. The people of Letcher County spoke yesterday, and they voted Terry Adams back in the office, at least on the primary side. So that's what they want. So obviously they are okay with the corruption. They're okay with the decline of the economy, the terrible state that Letcher County is in. And I don't even know where to start, whether it be the roads, whether it be the infrastructure, whether it be the economy, whether it be cell phone service. I don't know where to even start. But it is in terrible shape. And I said, if they vote him back in, they're obviously okay with it. So you be okay with it too. And I told him, I said, Letcher County, I said, I would not want to ever lead a place that didn't want me to be their leader. Obviously, they don't want you to be their leader. So why would you want to lead them? I would not want to lead anybody that didn't want me to lead. I remember my dad one time telling me that, my dad's also a pastor of a church, and he said he would not ever take a church on as pastor unless he got 100% of everybody agreeing for him to come. He said one person would vote no would cause him not to take the job. He would want a 100% yes vote. And that makes sense. Why would you want to pastor a church where a few little people don't want you in there? Those few little people could cause so much chaos, it's not even worth it. Those 3 little people that don't like you could cause so much trouble, it would be outstanding what they could accomplish to hurt you. So I told Dad to kind of have that same mindset when he went into doing this. But I was very impressed with what my dad was able to do with the little amount of money he spent. I was his campaign manager. Literally, I don't even think he cracked $5,000 for this county judge executive race. He, for the first time being a candidate, I think that he did amazing. He really did. And he didn't do too bad. 230 votes is all he lost by. Terry Adams received 802 total. My dad, Joe Banks, received 572. And the other candidate received a total of 396. Terry won 45% of the vote. Dad won 32% of the vote. Wade won 22% of the vote. 230 votes. That's all it was. But here's the problem. The voter turnout was terrible. Folks, that's not even 2,000 people that went out to vote. You're talking about a 1,700 total of people who went out and voted in Letcher County. If you want change, you have to go out and vote. I cannot preach how important that is. People think a lot of times, my vote doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter. Whoever's going to win will win. My vote don't really count anyway. It's times like this when it would have counted. I mean, 230 more people, if they would have decided to get up and go vote, and they wanted change and they wanted my dad into office, that just 230 more votes would have done it. But you can't stay dormant. You can't sit on the sideline and expect change and expect other people to go out and do it for you. Always vote. Even if you don't have anybody you want to vote in or vote for, write your own name in. That's not illegal. Yes, it's a wasted vote, but you still voted. And you have the right to do that. You have the right to put in your dog's name if you want. That is your right. You have the right to put in your pet rat's name if you want, but you still voted. It's a wasted vote, but hey, you still exercised your vote. And that's what matters. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of my dad. He put himself out there. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think that Letcher County really would have benefited from him being the county judge executive. But Letcher County, I don't think that my dad lost. Letcher County is the losers, honestly. They would have had a great winner in there with my dad being a county judge. And I don't just say that because he's my dad. My dad will say he does things he says he's going to do. And he's going to try to figure out how to get it done. He's a moral man. He's a man of God. And I don't think that Letcher County could have got any better. But the people spoke, and that's what Election Day is all about. Now, let's get to the national elections, folks. Now, we're going to talk about the categories that everybody cares about. Well, let's start with the United States Senator. Andy Barr overwhelmingly beat Daniel Cameron. So Andy Barr will be your Republican candidate for the United States Senate race in November. He will be taking on Charles Booker, who won the Democratic nomination, defeating Amy McGrath. Charles Booker got 59% of the vote. Wow, that's insane. Now, I don't know if this is just Fayette County. It could just be Fayette County. But that's a big number. Charles Booker won by a lot. So it's going to be Charles Booker taking on Andy Barr. Interesting. Then you've got Ralph Alvaro taking on Zach Dimbo, Democrat, for the United States Congress. For mayor here in Lexington, Linda Gorton will be taking on Raquel Carter, who got the second most votes out of that race. The way it works for mayor is that they take the top two candidates during the primary and they put them against each other for the general in November. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Two women going against each other. I was going to say before I seen Raquel Carter get a nomination, I was going to say there was no way that Linda Gorton could get beat. But honestly, I think Linda Gorton can beat Raquel Carter. I just don't see her being appealing enough to beat Linda Gorton. And that pretty much, folks, is the main categories of what everybody cares about, the big offices that everybody wanted to hear. You can always go online and check out the results of your own local area on ballotopia.com or whatever that's called, or just Google Kentucky election results. But this seems like a great place to take off the cuffs song of the week. And how about we're going to slow it down a little bit with One Republic, Need Your Love. This is their new song, and it's a great one. We'll be back. Hello, Pam. Hello, Renee. Hello, Lynn. Hey, how's everybody doing? Sorry I've not been very vocal on the Facebook Live today. Don't have a lot of energy. This weather has just worn me down. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and take one last break. We've got one more segment. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. Today's national holiday is International Tea Day. So for all of you tea lovers out there, today is your day to enjoy a nice cup of tea. I am more of a coffee drinker, not really tea, but tea has the same benefits that coffee has. Some people say more. You get a lot of caffeine with tea. Numerous studies have shown that a variety of teas may boost your immune system, fight off inflammation, or even ward off cancer and heart disease. Now, people wonder all the time, which is healthier between coffee and tea? Coffee has its advantages, but tea wins the war because green tea is the most commonly associated with antioxidants, while tea actually contains more. Coffee also contains antioxidants, which is in a lower, much concentrated version than white tea. Which tea is the most healthy? Green tea is often touted as the healthiest tea. It is chock full of polyphenols and antioxidants that help boost brain and heart health. Green tea is considered one of the most least processed true teas as it does not undergo any oxidation. Interesting. Green tea. There are as many as 3,000 variety of teas, it says. Some types of tea have additives like twigs, sawdust, and sheep dung. Tea is a diuretic. That means tea makes you need to urinate. So if you need to pee and you're trying to make yourself pee, well, drink you a cup of tea. It will definitely do that. Coffee, too, though. I mean, people always think something's wrong with me, like I've got diabetes or something, because I'm always running to the bathroom and I'm like, guys, I keep a cup of coffee in my hand. The perfect cup of black tea takes 3 to 5 minutes to steep. And then finally, a fun fact about tea here. Aromatic teapots arrived in Europe in the 16th century. I love it when people still make teas using the little whistle teapot. It always is fascinating. But folks, I want to thank you for tuning in for another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. If you liked what you heard today, you'll probably like our previous episodes. We archived them all on podcast. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you stream your podcast. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me, the show host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM. So I will be back same time, same place. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the king of radio, Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. I'll catch you down the road. Whew. All right, guys, thank you so much.